Bonjour. Hello, everybody. So it's Friday morning. You may have noticed I haven't, from your perspective, posted for a couple days. I keep putting stuff to go up, and then it just grinds away and grinds away and grinds away. I'm working on that. You may or may not see this, because why wouldn't this be another in a list of videos that doesn't want to get posted? Oh, my nose just went crazy. I hope you're doing good. Happy Friday. Happy fucking Friday. And if you're upset about the F word, too bad. It's been a hell of a couple of weeks. 2 weeks of just like, the schedule is off. Everything has to get moved. It's been very successful, and I've managed everything really well. Excuse me. Pardon moi. But I'm a little tired. So I may have confessed. We had a monstrous bug issue at my apartment. Ugh. You know, the kind of issue that, you know, were it at all possible, you just light a match and burn the whole place down and start over. It was so gross. And I have 2 cats. So the humans and the cats had to be out of the apartment for 4 hours after the spray. And it's astonishing how many people are allergic to cats or don't like cats, or, you know, so where am I supposed to go with 2 cats for 4 hours? It's, you know, this is not a simple thing. So fortunately, my friend Julia used to have a cat, so I knew she at least was open to having, so she hosted us, thankfully, thank God. Iced coffee. When Lemon was a baby, she was so wild, because I think she was just over the line of feral when she got captured. I think I've told you this. She doesn't really have a full meow. She just kind of meeps and chirps and trills. But it's a domesticated cat meows, and a domesticated adult cat meows. A wild adult cat, extremely rare for them to meow. So she doesn't really have a meow. And I knew she was a little wild when I got her. And for whatever reason, she liked me. She picked me. And I fell in love with her. You know, I had her and her brother in the carrier on the bed, and I needed to take a nap. They were so little, and they were so unaccustomed to humans. So I put them in the bed with me. I stuck my hand in the carrier, and as I was dozing off, I felt her put all her toe beans on my hand, like she was holding my hand. And then she put her toe beans from every toe bean, front feet, back feet. She was holding my hand. Dead. That was it. That was it. That was the day that she just grabbed my heart and squoze it with her toe beans. So, she's a little anxious. She's a little skittish. You know, she's my baby, and I worry about her, but she's a little, you could tell she's an alley cat, right? She'll come out and visit with people once in a while. My roommate has a friend, Priscilla. She adores Priscilla, and always tries to get up in Priscilla's hair. I don't know sniffs it really hard and sometimes bites it. She does that to me because I use a specific shampoo. So I know Priscilla uses like a non-sulfate shampoo. Yeah, I know. Priscilla uses classy shampoo because Lemon likes her hair. So when she was a baby, I used to throw her in the carrier and take her to Julia's as one of the several places, but I would stop by Julia's and we would hang out there for an hour or two. And then on the way home, we'd get her some El Pollo Loco because I wanted to create a certain pattern, which is sometimes we go in the carrier and we go places that are not the vet. And every time we come home from the carrier, we get a little reward of Chicky Chicks. And it's amazing. She only ever has to be shown something like 2 or 3 times and she gets it. So now she's 2.5. We haven't gone anywhere since the dawn of the age of Zeus. You know, the 2 of them, I took them to the vet together once, and that's it. We haven't been out of the house as a family since. So that'll be a year ago in September. So now I've got to catch these cats. Yesterday morning, I'm like, oh my God, catch these cats, get them in the carriers, and take them to Julia's. One of the tricks I have is not going to get me on Architectural Digest at all. I keep the carriers out 24/7. They're on the floor in the bedroom next to their toys. And sometimes they hop in and out of them. They play with the carriers. And that's what I want. I don't want the situation where I get the carriers out and then they're like, oh shit, we're going to the vet, and then they go and hide. This is not an ideal situation. But if it's just the carriers, you know, well, they see them every day, who cares? There's all that tension and hiding and stuff like that. So she was very easy. You know, I waited, I got her first, I put her in her carrier, did not want to go in it. You know, I won, she got in it. And then it was time to do Zeus, and Zeus is more than twice her size. He did not want to go in the carrier, but he was, you could feel he was way more scared because he didn't know what was going on. She knew we were leaving and going somewhere. So she was a little relaxed because it's not guaranteed we were going to the vet, but we were going somewhere. So I get the 2 cats into the car, and he starts meowing so hard. And so she decides to meow in solidarity. And my friend lives in the valley, so it was like a half hour of... She settled down right away, but he had a hard time, and he tried to settle down. And then as we approached Julia's, I thought he was going to just, you know, burst his way out and freak out. We got there, we got to Julia's. I had made a last minute decision to buy a pen, a play pen, you know, like they use for kittens, so I could contain them in one space. And we got that out and we opened it up, and there was no lid. It was an open pen. Like, that's fine for puppies. That's not going to work in this situation. Okay, so I put the carriers inside the pen. I unzipped the carriers, and he couldn't wait to get out. He busted out like the Kool-Aid Man, and he's so big, and he was so freaked out that he didn't jump out. He pulled the wall down and slammed his way out, and yeah, it was like a weird kitty Kool-Aid Man situation. And then he went and hid under the furniture, which may sound normal for another cat. This cat is so friendly and so adventurous. He never hides under the furniture. If you're looking for Zeus, look for me or my roommate, because he wants to be around people. When delivery people come to the door, he has to come, and he sits and waits for them to acknowledge him. He expects to be petted. Everybody is his friend. He's decided. He stared at Julia with such suspicion. He was not sure what was going on at all. And Julia, she's so fun. She's somebody that when we get together, we never run out of things to talk about. And, she has her freelance business. I brought my computer. I had intended to work. We talked the whole time. It's just what we did. And it was really fun. It was good to catch up with her. Lemon, on the other hand, not only didn't get out of the playpen, she pretty much stayed in her carrier. A couple times she got out, she stretched. I'd put a little litter box, a little food, a little water. She checked it all out, went okay, and then went back to her little carrier. But that was because she recognized Julia and recognized the smells and knew this was not a veterinary situation. She knew it was. She just had to wait until we got home. Mr. Man was not cool with it at all. Eventually, he investigated Julia a couple times, and rubbed on her and everything, but he did not enjoy this situation. I don't know if he thought I was trying to adopt him out, because it was one of those pens that you see at like an adoption event. It was a soft pop-up one. I don't know what it was. His eyes were so big. My poor little guy. So, are we going to get home? Is he going to be mad? Is there going to be revenge pee? What's going to happen? Then we got home. He really wanted to keep to himself for a while. But eventually, this morning, all is fine. He brought me his straw. If you have a drink and it has a straw in it, that is like Excalibur in the stone. He must extract the straw and then, run around with his prize. So he has a El Pollo Loco straw that he's in love with. And he keeps running around with it. And so he brought me his straw this morning. And then, it's laid next to me so close that I couldn't get out of the bed to go to the bathroom. I had to really negotiate to move him. So, and then weirdly, for Lemon, I think this adventure was good for her because she's walking around with a lot of confidence, and she's revisiting resting places that she's been ignoring for the better part of a year. So her window hammock, she got in it right away yesterday. She hasn't been in the window hammock in months. So, I think for her it was a fun little adventure. I think for him, he was very confused. I may have to take him on another adventure just to sort of get him used to the system. But it was, we survived. We got home. The bugs did not survive. Yay! And the cleaning people are coming Sunday or Monday to help put the kitchen back in order. It's my house looks like a crazy person lives there right now. And in general, I've lived in this apartment for over a decade. We had one bug incident back when I first moved in, and nothing since then. But back in May, there was some horrible smell from the dumpster. And I don't know. I don't know if this is a product of that. I don't know if it's a change in the weather, because my neighbor called me to ask if we're having a flea problem. We are not having, well, now we are starting to have a flea problem. But generally, we don't need to do year-round flea treatment. So the bug situation in Southern California is a little extra at the moment. You tuned in for a whole story about cats and bugs. That was what you signed up for. So in other news, I bought a little handheld camera because until I figure out how to get the videos off my phone and onto YouTube, I'll figure it out. It might be a good idea to have an alternative. In addition, I need to get my steps up. So I think I might have mentioned that I tore a calf muscle in early May, and it really slowed me down, and I'm not getting as much activity. So it's finally not hurting. I do have a bit of a limp. My balance is a little iffy, but I'm feeling better. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe do a walk and talk instead of a drive and chat. And there's a company, DJI, and they make a lot of products. I have their gimbal, which is excellent, but I don't want to walk around with my phone on the gimbal in my neighborhood. All of that would be expensive to have to replace. The little camera I got mimics, there's a DJI little handheld mini something or other, and it's like $900, and I found a knockoff for $70. I'm gonna give it a try. That's a vast price difference, so there's a strong chance that I just threw $70 in the shitter. But maybe it's great. I don't know. We'll find out. That comes today, so I'm gonna give that a try and see what maybe I'll do an unboxing video. Everybody likes to unbox things. So we'll give that a try. And at the moment, I'm on the freeway. I'm going to Studio City for my new clients. This will be the second time I'm at their office. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good that I survived the last 2 weeks. I do feel like I've run a gauntlet. And that things will get back to normal starting tomorrow, really. So, yeah. And somebody read one of my scripts and they loved it. I was so relieved. I mean, it's just a friend. It's not anybody who can say, sold. But it's such a relief when you write something and somebody reads it, period. I could end the sentence there. It's such a relief when somebody reads your writing. I can't tell you how many times I've given something to someone and then like, oh, great, and then they never hear from them again. So I'm not the only writer who has that experience. So if you guys are writers, you know what I'm talking about. It feels very wah wah. It's like, look, I spent all this time making this ashtray for Dad for Father's Day, and Dad doesn't smoke. It's kind of like you feel like, oh, that's cute. Yeah, congratulations. But when somebody actually reads what you've written, they've taken you seriously. They've taken you seriously enough to read it. And that feels good. And we'll see. It's a story I have to write a pitch deck for. I have to write the Bible for. I initially wrote it as a writing sample so I could get on a show. So I don't have it as planned out as like other series that I've created. I know the trajectory. I know where it's going. I know. Okay, by season 4, bloop, it can be over, and this is the end. And I plan it that way on purpose. Netflix tends to get rid of stuff at about season 3 or season 4 if they keep it around, but they tend to cap it off at that point, which makes sense because they're not getting advertising revenue like ABC or CBS or one of the big majors do. They get their whatever per month, and that's it. That is all they get. And the more popular a show gets, the bigger the budget gets. So they're making less money on Stranger Things now than they did before, unless they're doing something about merchandising. They're not, when you've got a show on a network that has advertisers. This year, you can charge $5,000, and then when it's a hit, it's $10,000, it's $20,000, and on. There's no flexible price point for them to recoup costs. So, yeah. So I only plan them to close out at about 3 or 4 seasons. This particular one, I don't know what I did to myself. I don't know. But there's a component in there where one of the characters may or may not have Epstein's hard drive. And everybody's after this hard drive. And when I wrote it, I wrote it a year ago, nobody gave a shit about Epstein and the hard drive. And, well, not even they're still not talking about the hard drive. Because allegedly there is a hard drive of the videos from the townhouse. But they're talking about the files, meaning what the government has. And, this guy was documenting himself. He's got there's a lot of gigabytes of stuff. And I just thought it was something that, I know he's dead, but I felt like he got away with it. And everybody who participated got away with it. They all got away with it. And as long as those files, those videos, that hard drive stays missing or hidden or obfuscated, they get away with it. And I just, to me it was just like, I know it's something that people want to hide, so I knew it was a good story device. So where I am now with it is, I hope the files get released. I really do. I'm skeptical that they will, because Trump isn't the only name that's in there, and we see how hard Trump is working to keep it from getting out. So if he's got stuff to hide, and he's been openly a perv his whole life, we've seen him ogle his daughter on TV. Ew. No, he doesn't know where the line is, and he doesn't care. And, this is a man who said, when you're famous, you can do anything. They let you. You can get away with anything. This is a man who said, I could shoot somebody out in the middle of Fifth Avenue and nobody would do anything about it. These are things that he has said publicly, proudly, cheerfully. And he's the squirming Sherman stuff that's going on with what the government has possession of. It tells me a lot. There is something there. There is there. So, so what is my story about now? It was a MacGuffin. I thought it was something nobody gave a shit about. And now other people do give a shit about it, which I'm relieved. I'm very relieved, because, the victims deserve justice. And we should know who the perverts are. We should just know. so that we can make an informed decision about what kind of cooties we want to be around. Oh, you like to put your pee in a baby's V? You're disgusting, and I don't want to be around you. And I also am not going to vote for you. Thank you, Senator. Goodbye. If that's the kind of person you need to be, I need to be a different kind of voter. I need to be a different kind of consumer. You know, that's just the truth of the matter. It's a lot of words. I'm sorry, guys. I have a lot of opinions about this. So I've got to put some focus on that. But meanwhile, I'm writing my period piece, and that's going very well. So I know that I'm going to do pages on my period piece this weekend. It's just coming out very easy, smooth, fluid, and I'm having fun, which I think is important. So I have taken you on the 10. I've taken you on the 405. I've just brought you onto the 101. We've done a lot of freeways in just a little bit a minute. I really like going to Studio City in the morning because I'm against traffic, which means it flows quickly. It's on the other side that it's rush hour-y, so it's nice. That's about all I have for you right now. I hope you're going to have a really good weekend. I hope I'm able to upload something someday. If you're watching this, it means I succeeded. Yay! Okay. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to listen to some Novena Carmel. Get a couple tunes in before I get to where I'm going. Enjoy my iced coffee. I feel like school just let out. Yeah. Thanks, you guys. Bye.